26, 2012. I want to welcome everyone here. We are going to have a pledge of allegiance, and I'm going to ask Ms. Pearson to lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Giovanini and Steve Creswell for George Kakajian.
Steve Creswell.
We have two substitutes tonight. Janet Langley from Gateway Community College is sitting in for Dr. Giovanini, and Steve Creswell is sitting in for George Kakajian. Welcome to the meeting. The board offers opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board. In compliance with open meeting law, the governing board cannot discuss nor take action on issues raised during this portion of the agenda. When necessary, issues will be taken under advisement and placed on a subsequent agenda. The first request to speak is from Carmen Cornejo of the Arizona DREAM Act Coalition.
Good evening, members of the board, chancellor, and others. My name is Carmen Cornejo, and I'm a member of the Arizona DREAM Act Coalition. I also have my little organization for the promotion, for promoting the passage of the DREAM Act. And right now, I have two letters of complaint. Of some of the letters of complaint that I have received in the past months about students that have been denied access to the Maricopa County Community College District in some ways, and also access to services. In the first case, a letter that I received, it was a person who was basically thrown out of the soccer team because he was suspected to be an undocumented immigrant. So I'm going to read his letter. Well, not in just the relevant parts. When my team finally got to play 10 minutes into the game, the coach took me out of the game to talk to me. The first thing he said, "Hey, I heard a rumor from one of the coaches from the Santos Soccer Club," and then said, do you this person, blah, blah, blah. I replied, "Yes, the coach that I met when I was younger." "Well, he told me that you were undocumented. Is that true?" I replied, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Well, I'm sorry, but I can't have you on this team. I'm not allowed to have undocumented students on my roster." And the student replied, "Really? Since when?" I thought I could. So this is one of examples that are letters that I received. Obviously, I'm not going to provide the name of the student, but this happened in Glendale Community College. Also, I got another complaint of a person who was told, and I'm going to read just the very, very relevant parts that says, they went to Rio Salado Community College, and at the point of registration, the person told this lady to not come back until she had her Social Security number. She was not allowed to register as an out-of-state student. So not even like cashing in like 3 times for students. I mean, you're doing a good job on this. So I have a suggestion for you. I think you need to do some outreach to the students that the community college are open for them, even when they have to pay this outrageous amount of money. And then to do some proper outreach that they also entitled to some of the services here. And what else? I'm looking forward to, with a meeting with the board and with the chancellor and some relevant members of the board and the community, so we can set straight some of the facts that I've been finding in the community colleges. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next person is Michael Powell. And thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Burke and members of the board, Chancellor, CEC, Maria, hello. This is more just saying, for your information, on May 4th, I filed to run for State Senate in District 20 of the Arizona Legislature. And so it appears that I've passed all the challenges, got all the signatures. I'm running as a clean elections candidate, and I will be the Democratic nominee. It should be a very interesting election. I'm looking forward to it. I will be facing two other candidates in my district. The Republican candidate is Kimberly Yee. The independent candidate is Doug Quellen. And so hopefully we'll have an opportunity to discuss the issues. One of the reasons I'm running is what I've learned through my activities through the community colleges and the importance of student success and education. And so I hope to bring many of the ideas that have been brought forward by this body to apply at the state legislature itself. So just as a courtesy, again, candidate for District 20 State Senate. PALforazsenate.com is the website. Feel free to take a look at it. And I appreciate everything that I've learned through this process. And then also for your information, I'm completing a 6-month term as past president, and I don't anticipate any future AFA activities after December 31st. So thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. I would like to point out to the body that one of our members is out of state, and he is joining us by telephone tonight. So Randolph Lum is with us by technology. Randolph, we now have a community linkage, and I'm asking whether you have a report to give.
Thank you.
You do not have a report?
You do not, or you do?
No report.
Okay. Mr. Sarr?
None.
Ms. Pearson?
No report.
Okay. And neither have I. Dr. Glasper, internal community.
Mr. Burke, members of the board, I'd like to just take a moment to remind everyone of an update tonight, is that we are going to be tobacco-free on July 1st, and we are going to join more than 700 colleges and universities who have taken this important stand. We will continue to offer cessation programs to help employees and students kick the smoking habit and to look forward to a full commitment to our tobacco-free environment after July 1st. And there's a lot of excitement that's going on. We've had a couple of or more education sessions here at the district office and around the district, and we are getting some pretty positive feedback, as well as people are concerned about stopping smoking, but we're moving forward.
Thank you.
The next item I just wanted to share with you, I've had an opportunity this month to visit Washington on several occasions, and I wanted to update the board on the activities that took me to Washington. The first is the Commission on Online Registration for out-of-state students. This is a significant review that we're going through right now, and it primarily impacts all of our colleges who are offering classes out of state. And Rio's has previously been in 50 states throughout the U.S. After some of the concerns from proprietary institutions and those which the federal government would describe as bad actors have really put a push on the Department of Education to require at this particular point that every community college, university throughout the country that offers online education outside of their own state jurisdiction must now register. That in itself causes a major cost impact, and many of the states have found to not have an infrastructure in place. So they're having to build an infrastructure, they're establishing a cost, and we are finding that for community colleges in general, our cost of education is so much less than the privates and some of the universities that we might be priced out of being in some states. And if that were to occur, if a student were one that started their education within Maricopa and for whatever reason moved out of state for job and wanted to continue their education, if we weren't registered in that state, they would not be able to do that. Currently, they can. So we are trying to establish some consortiums. Dr. Bustamante is on a couple of national committees. WICHE is one of the major consortiums on the Western region, and we're having some good follow-up to see if we can make some recommendations. Former Secretary of Education Riley is chairing this group, and we feel that by February we need to come up with some recommendations to go to the Department of Education as to how we will address this item. The second visit was one with the Higher Learning Commission, and this visit was because in fiscal year, in 2013, all of higher education may be going through a reauthorization of higher education. There is concern, again, because of out-of-state and other type of accreditation issues, that the federal government is interested in being the sole provider of accreditation services for the U.S. We currently have 7 regional accrediting agencies, and Higher Learning Commission is ours, and you're familiar with the Higher Learning Commission. So what we were doing was visiting with our Arizona delegation that are on the Health and Education Committee to talk to them ahead of time before the issue comes up for revisiting, talking about the changes that the Higher Learning Commission and other accrediting agencies have gone through, talked about the process for accreditation, the visits, and where we think that there will be another level of bureaucracy and costs that will not add any value to what's going on in terms of accreditation and higher education in general. And again, this is another attempt that is being characterized as we have a few bad actors that are out there, and now the entire industry is being penalized. So there is an anticipation that from this particular group that over the next year we may be asked as Maricopa again to go out. We were part of a team that represented Dr. Bustamante, Dr. Lujan, and we also had the president from Tohono O'odham, who was part of our delegation visiting with our congressional members. The last meeting that I attended was the one on college attainment. You're aware that the president's goal that was supported by the American Association of Community Colleges and also supported by our board in terms of a resolution to double the number of certificates and degrees by the year 2020. This commission is finishing up its final report, and we hope to have it completed by September. And at that particular time, we're trying to present a report that will meet the audiences of not only the executive office of the U.S., but also our own local boards and others, to talk about whether or not the goal is one that's within reach, or what are some of the challenges, and how do we change the way we do business in order to achieve this goal, and how do we work collectively throughout the U.S. with both publics and privates to achieve the goal of increasing the number of students that receive both certificates and degrees. So all in all, we are glad to have a seat at this particular table because all of them will impact us in a material fashion. So I will be reporting back as we complete these reports and share them with the board.
Great. We appreciate your activity on the national level and appreciate these reports. Thank you. Secretary's report, Mr. Sarr.
None?
Okay. Student life reports, I have none. I think we passed this section on the agenda. So I got a late request to speak, but we are already into our meeting, and so I'm going to pass on this and ask this person to come to the next meeting if she wishes to speak. We have a Faculty Executive Council report. I do not see Mr. Cranswick. Oh, there's Mr. Cranswick. There you are, hiding behind Ms. Cater. I was going to call her Ms. Udicello, but...
Well, you've already met her, so I don't have to introduce her then. President Burke, members of the Governing Board, Chancellor Glasper, members of CEC, and guests. my report will not be as brief as some of yours, but it will be rather brief. I did want to report on the Faculty Meet and Confer team. Today, the Faculty Executive Council finalized their membership of the Faculty Meet and Confer team. Returning from last year will be Frank Wilson from Chandler Gilbert, Pat Lokey from Scottsdale Community, and Keith Hefner from Mesa Community Colleges. As a result of a constitutional change, Eddie Jenna will be replacing me on the last and final member of the Faculty Meet and Confer team. The team will be beginning its meetings in July to start preparing for next year's work with the administrative team. I did want to make a report about my reports. As you're well aware, we get an opportunity at every meeting to bring you up to date with some of the issues related to the faculty. This year, in addition to the periodic updates we're going to make, the Faculty Association plans to use some of this time to present a few of the academic success stories that are taking place around the district. Instructional council chairs and faculty senate presidents have been invited to help identify some faculty who will present ideas or programs that illustrate the outstanding work that's going on among the faculty members in the district. Clearly, we won't have enough time to present all the ideas that will be suggested, but the Faculty Association is excited for the opportunity to showcase a small sample of the excellent academic work that is representative of so many of the faculty in the district. So I'll entertain any questions. Hearing none, I'll leave.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Employee groups, Sally Harvey, PSA President.
President Burke, Governing Board members, Chancellor Glasper, CEC members, employees of the district, and our guests. First, I'd like to thank everyone for allowing me the opportunity to speak this evening. I am happy to say that I have 2 more working days, and I will be concluding my presidency of PSA. And if you have any doubt in my mind, in your mind that my mind is set, listen to the rest of this. What we want to do is we want to go through and present a year of review for PSA for this year. Our first slide was of our mission statement for PSA. Maricopa County Community College District Professional Staff Association is committed to providing a united voice for professional staff employees by encouraging professionalism, education, advancement, friendship, diversity, and volunteerism. These are our board members, our executive board for 2011-2012. I being the executive president. Executive president-elect is Cecilia. Executive secretary is Carmen Gonzalez. She's here at the district office. Executive treasurer is Anita Dusick. She's with MCC. Executive CPD chair is Donna Winston. She's with the district office. And our executive past president this year was Donna Owens from Estrella Mountain. That was when we were installed, or however you say that. This year, our wildly important goals, our WIGs, were transparency, accountability, proficiency, and service. And we felt that those were very apropos, considering what we had done and dealt with last year. One of our activities was the holiday luncheon, and we had the opportunity to bring toys for the Gifts of Hope and canned foods for the Vista del Camino food bank. And not only did we have those opportunities, but when we were there, we found out of a PSA member whose house had burned down. And so we took a call for money, and they came up with $486, I think.
Not only did our PSA members bring stuff, but they also took right out of their pocket and donated it, and we made sure that the family got that. Our community involvement, which follows one of our WIGs, which was service, was the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, the Arizona Burn Center at the Maricopa Medical Center, Maricopa Learns Through Service Workshop, and various scholarship fundraisers and activities throughout the district. And I forgot to add in that we did the box tops, the labels, where, you buy the candy and the stuff and they are worth 10 cents. I can't even tell you how many of those we got, thousands of those. And so we were able to give them to our local schools and help out the schools. This next year, we have Cecilia, and I want to introduce her as our president. We have Lynn Mary. She's from PC also, executive president-elect. Executive secretary is going to be Carmen Gonzalez. Executive treasurer is going to be Anita Dusick. Executive CPD chair is Donna Winston. And past president's me. This year for our 30th PSA Summer Conference, we had the name Pearls, the Heart of Maricopa. We were encouraging our PSA members to look at themselves as that pearl that Maricopa holds and what value we hold for them. And that was held on June 15th, and we had a terrific time with that. And I want to show you some of the pictures that we have. Is that where we are? Okay. Our first one is with our speaker, and Cheryl Rausch, and she had a thing called Sparkletude, and this was really all about our attitude and our Sparkletude that we should be holding as PSA members. And she just went around and she just talked with everybody and got different ideas of what they come to the table with and what they bring to PSA with their Sparkletudes. As you're taking a look at these pictures, I also want to make an announcement that the Friends of PSA Award had 2 winners this year. We had Dr. Lujan, and we also had Alberto Olivas from here at District Office, and they both received a nice plaque. Our outstanding PSA member was Donna Winston, which should surprise none of you if you've dealt with her. And we were very proud of the fact that we were able to give her that award. Fun was had by one and all. We had some governing board members. We had our CEC guests. We had our chancellor and vice chancellors there. We had great karaoke going on afterwards. If you have any questions on that, you can see Dr. Pan. He has a phone video of it, so I hear. I'd like to conclude with, I'd like to thank all of you for your patience and your support during my time as PSA president. This experience has been a great learning experience for me personally and professionally. I feel as if I've been to Oz. Things truly are a horse of a different color here. And as I find my yellow brick road back to GCC, I can click my heels and say there's no place like home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. I will just speak on behalf of the board. I know everyone on the board joins me in thanking the PSA staff for the work that you do, for the support you provide all employees, and for the educational programs. We appreciate your work very much.
Is the new president happy?
What is it?
She's standing there. Governing Board, Chancellor, CEC. For those of you that were unable to attend the summer conference, PEARL is an acronym that we used as a summer conference committee that represents what Professional Staff Association stands for. And the acronym is P for positive, E for experience, A for attitude,
R for resilience, and L was for legacy and leadership. And every PSA member within Maricopa is a pearl, and we are the heart of Maricopa.
Yeah.
So thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Next is Phil Jalowick with the Adjunct Faculty Association.
Substitute.
No, I'm not Phil, but that's okay. Beauty before age. Okay. I am Mark Vanis, the Adjunct Faculty Association Vice President. Good evening, President Burke, members of the Governing Board, Chancellor Glasper, members of the CE District Executive Staff, and guests. The Adjunct Faculty Association has been very active this past fiscal year in advocating on behalf of adjunct faculty within the district. Most recently, this past spring, we enjoyed a successful Adjunct Faculty Spring Conference hosted by Scottsdale Community College on April 14. And the theme was effectiveness through design, dialogue, and engagement. We thank the members of the CEC that were able to attend, and Chancellor Glasper's keynote message on disruptive innovation was actually especially well received by the adjunct faculty that were in attendance. We appreciate the opportunities that both Dr. Glasper and Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick have afforded us in filling the need for professional development. But more importantly, we believe that there are many challenges and opportunities for Maricopa Community Colleges in pursuing improvement in student success. As you know, there are more than 6,000 adjunct faculty who teach over 60% of the courses district-wide. So we feel it's important to take a broader engagement for further professional development to do our part in sharing your goals. And the Adjunct Faculty Association this next fiscal year will pursue this through multiple avenues to help accommodate our large employee group. We sincerely appreciate the raise that was just given from $8.13 to $8.33 per load hour for the upcoming fiscal year, and would like to thank each of the governing board members for affording the adjunct faculty employee group the opportunity to present its concerns, initiatives, and progress as we pursue many initiatives to encourage adjunct faculty increased effectiveness for next year. Lastly, since I recently accepted a new full-time teaching position in a different state, I will soon be leaving Arizona. Phil Jalowick will continue on as president with Michael Powell as past president for the next 6 months. And we have also altered our structure and constitution and will now have 2 vice presidents on our executive committee. And one of them is unable to be here tonight. Kim Wagner-Hems teaches at Estray. She's teaching actually tonight. That's why she's not able to be here. And Glenn Taylor, who is here. Glenn, if you could stand, he's going to be our new vice president as well. He teaches at Glendale and Mesa Community College. Thank you for all of your support.
Thank you. And I will say this about adjunct faculty as well. The governing board appreciates the work that you do and your professionalism and your these reports. You do a good job, and we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you. Vice Chancellor reports, Ms. Jackson.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'm pleased to give an update very quickly on one core area within our human capital framework, and that is our wellness priorities. You may recall in April I talked briefly about the Healthy Living campaign, which is an expansion of our current wellness platform. We talked about that in the context of a rollout after July 1. However, there are 2 key components to this, the reawakening of our wellness platform that I'm happy to report on as we've rolled them earlier than anticipated. One is an expanded biometric screen. It was branded under the name of Right Path Health Screens, and it was launched on June 4th, less than 3 weeks ago. Within that time frame, we've had 440 people registered. We covered all costs. The employer covered all costs for 11 exams, including kidney, liver screens, peripheral arterial screens, thyroid, stroke, heart, ultrasound, blood oxygen levels, spleen, pancreas, gallbladder screens. And so of the 303 total that have undergone, we've had, on average, 40 issues that have arisen, and by issues I mean abnormal results. And so those employees have been notified, and we have encouraged them to seek additional review with their primary care physicians. We heard as late as about 3 hours ago that we had one employee who was diagnosed with an abdominal aneurysm at a pretty severe level, who had an opportunity to visit at the encouragement of these technicians, his primary care physician, and is scheduled for surgery next week. So he has shared that story personally with us today. So we're very happy that we had an opportunity to roll this out, and that had been met, though in its pilot stage, met with a fair amount of support and success. And the second phase, what we're also introducing, is called Naturally Slim, and this is for employees that may have metabolic syndrome. This was introduced on the 18th, last Monday, and it will roll out July 11th. And again, we're covering all costs for employees that would like to enroll. It's about a $400 value per employee, and it's a 10-week commitment. And so we're very excited about that. Early indicators suggest that we're going to have the same kind of success as we've met with our previous screens. And so those are two key components. Those are new components for our Healthy Living campaign. Some of the other components include what we've already mentioned around our mom and pop screens, mammogram, and so forth. And so we're looking at also an extension of our walking campaigns for walking meetings. And we are meeting tomorrow with the wellness team for purposes of their strategic plan so that we can assure that we're continuing to roll out new, innovative, engaging, progressive, behavior challenging programs so that we can really, really put our money where our mouth is around wellness. Thank you.
Thank you. College reports, I see none listed. Are there any college reports? Okay. The external community, the AADGB report, the AADGB, the Arizona Association of District Governing Board members met this month, and I will report two items from that meeting. The first is that we elected new officers, and I was elected treasurer. There was a slight rumble in the universe, but none of the planets escaped its orb. And I look forward to having an opportunity to do some addition and subtraction this next year. The second item on the agenda was a discussion of training of new governing board members. Elections will occur in November. New governing board members throughout the state will be elected, and we are in the process of trying to find a time when we can have a statewide training for our new governing board members. ASBA report, Mr. Sarr.
Coming up next month is a workshop up in Flagstaff. I think Mr. Lum is going to attend, and I encourage others as well to take the trip up there. It's a 2-day, I think, conference. I was there numerous times over the last 15 years, and it's well worth the trip and the time. And we'll look forward to Mr. Lum bringing back the words of wisdom that he took back from that conference.
Good. Thank you. We have legislative update, but I see we do not have a report tonight. Are there any awards and recognitions? Hearing none. We move to the agenda, and I will entertain a motion to approve the order of the agenda. Oh, yes. Are you going to call? Okay. We are contacting our fifth board member who is going to join us for the business session of the program.
Hello, Don Campbell.
Don, this is Doyle Burke.
Hello, Don Campbell.
Yes, Don, this is Doyle Burke. Can you hear me?
No, I can barely hear you.
Okay. We're starting the business session of the agenda.
You're doing what?
We're starting the business section of the agenda.
I can barely hear you. I heard a word about the agenda.
Okay. Okay, hang on. We're starting the business section of the agenda.
Okay, I can barely hear you, but I'll try.
Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Mr. Saar moves, Ms. Pearson seconds to approve the order of the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor of passing the order of the agenda, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The order passes unanimously. I will entertain a motion to consider the items on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove an item on the consent agenda?
No.
Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
All right, Mr. Lum moves.
Second.
Ms. Pearson seconds the motion to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries unanimously. We move into the section on non-consent action items. The first is the approval of a revised conceptual approval for the Coyote Center at Chandler Gilbert Community College. Ms. Thompson, would you care to comment?
Mr. President, members of the board, this is one of our major projects from the 2004 bond program. Several years ago, the college did bring forward conceptual approval request for the Coyote Center. Its focus at the time was really...
What happened?
Its focus at the time was really on serving as an athletic center. Since then, the college has engaged in a lot of reconsideration of all of the needs of the college into the future and has decided to downsize the athletic center. It's still fairly large, with currently an estimated 1,200 bleacher seats when in place, but it also feels that it's imperative to integrate into the building an integrated student services area in order to size that properly and have all of those services aligned well together. So the request is to approve this revised conceptual approval.
Okay. Don, we are voting on the conceptual approval for the Coyote Center at Chandler Gilbert Community College.
Chandler Gilbert?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the motion.
Okay. Mr. Saar moves.
Second.
Mr. Lum seconds the motion to approve for the conceptual approval for the Coyote Center at Chandler Gilbert Community College. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. The second item is the approval of a contract award for campus-wide emergency notification system at Glendale Community College and Glendale Community College North. Ms. Thompson, would you comment, please?
Mr. President, members of the board, this is approval for the college to acquire Alertus Technology emergency notification system that would help expand upon the RAVE system that the college has in place, and the approval is recommended.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this recommendation?
So moved.
Mr. Saar moves.
Second.
Ms. Pearson seconds the motion for a contract award for campus-wide emergency notification system at GCC and GCC North. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes, Ms. Pearson?
Well, on the discussion, I'm just, let's just move forward. I'll check on it with the chancellor later.
Okay. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is passed. The next item is the approval of ratification of contract award for the emergency chiller replacement at GCC North. Ms. Thompson? Just a moment. Yeah. Ms. Thompson?
Mr. President, members of the board, I'd like to ask Associate Vice Chancellor Lionel Diaz to say a few words on this.
Okay.
President Burke, board members, Chancellor Glasper, CEC, and guests. On the surface, this action item appears to be similar to many of the others on agendas that you see month to month. This item requests that you ratify the award of a contract for the replacement of a chiller on an emergency basis at GCC North. In April of this year, one of the two chillers at GCC North failed, and the campus was facing the situation of having only one chiller as the start of the cooling season approached. In mid-May, the Capital Development Advisory Council, CDAC, authorized staff members to proceed with the emergency replacement of the chiller with ratification to follow. So this agenda item may appear to be an operational issue that someone will handle. It's actually more than that. I'd like to take just a few minutes to explain that this item illustrates the extraordinary commitment of staff members at the district office and at Glendale. The design, procurement, and installation of chillers typically takes about 8 to 10 months. In this case, the time between the declaration of an emergency in late April to the installation of the chiller was 8 weeks. Again, weeks. That 2-month duration is 1/4 of the time that it usually takes. I won't give you all of the details, but I will give you one example of what it has taken to complete this work in 8 weeks. And I'll mention that normal delivery time for the procurement and delivery of a chiller is about 14 to 18 weeks. So out of that total, say 10 months, you might expect that the procurement and delivery of a chiller will take about 4 months. Okay. The 800-ton chiller that was delivered to GCC North was on a truck going down a freeway in the east coast of the U.S. It was 150 miles from its ultimate destination. However, based on, let's say, pressure and the sense of urgency that was conveyed by our district staff to the vendor that was selected, a manager at the vendor picked up the phone and made a phone call, found the driver of that truck that was on the way 150 miles from its destination, and said, "Stop, turn around, you're going to deliver that chiller across the country to a location at 59th Avenue and Happy Valley Road in Glendale." Okay. So, pretty extraordinary if you think about it. So, for the record, I would like to read the names of the team, and it was a team effort of those from the district office and Glendale Community College who made this happen. Brett Garwood, Ken Calteau, Ken Farnsworth, Arlen Solacek, Shelley Randall, and Liz Walker, all from District Facilities Planning and Development. Len Wanzi from Purchasing also was a key player.
Marcel said aye.
Jack Gallegos from GCC North, and Al Gonzalez from GCC Maine. If I've looked around, if any of them are here tonight, I'll ask them to stand up. Kenny?
I can't hear anybody.
It has been extraordinary work from that entire team. If there are no questions, we request your approval of this agenda item.
Entertain a motion to approve the ratification of a contract award for emergency chiller replacement at GCC North.
I move. Make the motion to approve this item.
All right. Mr. Lum moves, and
Dr. Campbell.
Dr. Campbell, did you second?
Second.
Okay, good. So is there discussion on this item? All those in favor of the contract award for the emergency chiller replacement at GCC North, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. The next item is the approval of a selection and contract award for the new student portal complex at Mesa Community College. Ms. Thompson, please comment.
Mr. President, members of the board, this is for architectural and engineering services for the new Student One-Stop Center. It is part of our bond program and a significant project for the college. You'll notice in the name it's identified as a student portal. As I understand it from talking with President Pan, this has some historic roots in conversations with the city, so it has a particular type of meaning based on those broader conversations, but it is intended as a one-stop, similar to others that have been developed at other colleges.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consultant selection and contract award for the new student portal complex at MCC? Mr. Sarr moves.
Second.
Ms. Pearson seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the consultant selection and contract award for the new student portal complex at MCC, please say aye. 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 Opposed, no. The motion carries unanimously. The next item is the approval of a change order for additional landscaping at Sophomore Square as part of the Hanley Center remodel and expansion at PC. Ms. Thompson, please comment.
Mr. President, members of the board, this is for landscaping around the Hanley Center, which has been remodeled and expanded and is undergoing phase 2 of remodel, and it does in part serve as the college's one-stop center, has really transformed the college, and the landscaping will help to complete that transformation. And we recommend its approval.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Pearson moves. Mr. Sarr seconds a motion for a change order for additional landscaping at Sophomore Square as part of the Hanley Center remodel and expansion at PC. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed, no. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. At this point in the agenda, I'm going to recess the meeting so that we can have a public hearing and special meeting on 2 items on the Phoenix College Preparatory Academy approval for the budget of 2012-2013 and for the Gateway Early College High School proposed budget for 2012-2013 and for the adoption of the Phoenix College Preparatory Academy proposed budget for 2012-2013. These we're required by law to have a public hearing on these approved budgets. The purpose of the hearing is to give any resident or taxpayer the opportunity to protest the inclusion of any item in the proposed budgets. First, I'm going to ask Ms. Thompson and her staff to explain on behalf of the governing board the proposed budgets. Ms. Thompson?
Mr. President, members of the board, we've got 4 items on these 2 charter high school budgets for next fiscal year, which begins in just a few days. The first 2 items are the public hearing, but attached to each of the items is also a request to approve the proposed budget. That's different pursuant to the rules and regulations and laws that exist on charter schools from the second 2 items, which is the actual adoption of the budgets. Okay. So they're similar in terms of the information that's provided, but they're 2 separate actions that are required, 2 separate actions for each of the high schools. I had seen Dr. Singer earlier and would ask him if he would, there he is, would ask him if he would just speak for a minute or 2 about the Phoenix College budget.
Thank you. President Burke, members of the board, Chancellor Glasper, CEC members, guests. I represent Phoenix College Preparatory Academy. Our budget basically is very similar to where we were at this time last year. Our budget's based on estimated enrollment, figures that are due at the end of July. And as we speak, there's kids coming and going at this moment. Kids are transferring in, enrolling, and some students are transferring out. So really our budget doesn't stabilize until October or even November. So you'll see that the initial budget is somewhere around $544,000 based on 75. This year we ended up with 83 687 students, so that's why the budget is increased. You'll see the comparison. But basically, it's just, again, throwing the dice, seeing where we are at the end of the year. That's the important part, is making sure we meet our expenses, and we have been able to do that for the last 5 or 6 years. Any questions? Thank you.
Do we do this separately from Gateway?
We will do a very brief but similar presentation for Gateway, so I'd suggest that you do the approval for Phoenix College now and then move on to Gateway.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget for the Phoenix College Preparatory Academy for 2012-2013.
So moved.
Ms. Pearson moves. Mr. Saar seconds the motion to approve the budget for the Phoenix College Preparatory Academy budget 2012-2013. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. The Gateway Community College Early High School program.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'd ask Dr. Langley if she would do a brief presentation on the Gateway budget.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. President Burke, members of the board, Dr. Glasper, and CEC, similar to the prep high school budget, we are in about the same spot as we were this time last year. We do have additional enrollments, however. Our enrollment has increased from 251 to we anticipate 273 next year, and our budget has increased proportionately with about the same amount per student rate. Our expenditures are holding as anticipated, and we don't anticipate any extreme expenditures one way or the other. So we anticipate a continued growth through next year.
Okay. We're going to entertain a motion then to approve the budget for Gateway Early College High School.
So moved.
Mr. Saar moves.
Second.
Ms.
Mr. Lum did it.
Mr. Lum seconds the motion to approve the Gateway Early College High School budget for 2012-2013. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed, no. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. We now end the special meeting of the proposed budgets for the two high school programs, and we will return to our regular meeting. And we are at the monitoring report, I believe.
Mr. Burke, you have items 3 and 4. That's the actual adoption of each of the budgets.
I thought we just did that.
That was the approval of the budgets. These are adoptions of
and then
the
we
budgets.
adopt the budget? Is that the case?
Yes. So item 3 under that section 7, and then item 4 are both adoptions.
Okay. Can we do that as one, or do we have to do them separately?
They're separate items, so
Separate
I think
items,
we'd be
all
good
right.
to do it separately.
Well, we just voted, I think we just voted to approve the information. We must now be voting on the budget. Is that the case?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
adopting.
All right. Here, I entertain a motion to approve the Gateway Early College High School budget for 2012-2013.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Saar moves, Ms. Pearson seconds. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries unanimously. The next item is the Phoenix College Preparatory Academy budget for 2012-2013.
So moved.
Ms. Pearson moves.
Second.
Mr. Saar seconds the motion. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries. Thank you. Now we are
Back into our regular meeting.
back in our regular meeting, and we're to the point of hearing a monitoring report of the budget. Ms. Thompson?
Mr. President, members of the board, this is the budget analysis report for the general fund for first 11 months of the fiscal year through May. We have collected a little over 98% of our revenues to date. That's on par with prior years. We have collected all of the state aid that was to be distributed and was appropriated and included in the budget. We've included nearly all, or recognized nearly all of tuition. We'd have some coming in for June, mostly for the summer session. And then property tax collections are strongest in October, November, and April and May. So for the most part, we've collected all of our property taxes, those three being the main sources of revenue to the general fund. Spending is below that because we do have a month of expenditures to go, mainly to payrolls and the expenditures on utilities and supplies and travel. But we expect to be pretty close in terms of expenditures versus revenue collections, and actually revenues are projected to outpace expenditures by about $5 million. So that's an increase to fund balance.
Okay, great. Any comment or question from the board on the report? Hearing none. Thank you very much. Then, let's see, our next meeting is in July. July 24th. And we will not have the work session in early July, so we will see you here again on July 24th. Thank you for coming. This meeting is adjourned.